What's going on, everybody? Blood Moon Bobby here, and I heard that Cinemablend has a story where they said they have a list of movies that are coming out around the HBO Max launch period, and here it is. We're going to go through it together, and we'll go through the list of movies. I know in a previous video, I talked about some of the titles that were expected on HBO Max. It was from a CNET article, and we know that Friends, Doctor Who, and The Big Bang Theory are expected to come to the service, but this list is much more movie focused, and there's actually a couple surprises on here. It's not just Warner Brothers movies you're also going to see a few titles from a couple other studios, including Warner's competitors. So figured we'd go through the list. And by the way, before I get started, I know that one movie that is coming to HBO Max in 2021 is the Zack Snyder Cut of Justice League. So it's not on this list, but I just wanted to let you know that that has been confirmed. We'll go through it together. It's separated into several decades. Basically, it's separated into the 2010s, the 2000s, 1990s, 1980s, and then 1970s and before that era. So not going to read every single title. I'll just read the ones that catch my interest. If you see your favorite movie on here, your movie or maybe even show, you could let me know down below in the comments. I see here there's Downton Abbey, Hellboy 2019, Hobbs and Shaw, which I'm sure might catch your attention for several reasons, not just because it's a Fast and Furious movie, but also it caught my eye in the sense that Hobbs and Shaw, that's a Universal release, which is kind of interesting because Universal is going to launch their own streaming service, Peacock, so I was thinking, what is going on? But then I remembered I talked a while ago about the following Bloomberg article. It's called Hollywood Studios Say They're Quitting Netflix, but the truth is more complicated. And if you go down to the last couple paragraphs in this article, you could see that Bloomberg reports that, quote, under AT&T, it will reserve some they're talking about Warner Brothers here and their content, for a new streaming service, but will continue to sell programs to Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, according to several people familiar with its plans. The home of Friends and The Big Bang Theory counts too much on such sales to forego third-party deals. So it got me into thinking maybe what's going on is it's not that we should look at services like HBO Max and Peacock as, in the future, they'll be the only ways to see Warner and Universal movies. Maybe what's going to happen is these studios will reserve a few titles for like competitors and other video on demand streaming services. They'll keep like cream of the crop titles exclusive. I think they're going to keep I expect that they're going to keep like super cream of the crop titles for their own services. Like I honestly don't expect the Zack Snyder Cut of Justice League to go much further than HBO Max, but we might see a few titles from competitors trickle on to these new streaming services. So in this list, you'll see some more Universal movies down the road. You'll also see, surprisingly, a couple Disney/Fox titles, which I'm about to talk about. So the list also mentions It Chapter 2, John Wick 3, Joker, Shazam. Kind of interested in that. Us, X-Men Dark Phoenix, which, again, Fox Disney title, but I think what I think in particular is happening with the Disney titles, most of which you're going to see are Fox movies. You'll see one or two Disney films on here. What I think is happening in the case of Dark Phoenix is Disney wants to is that they're interested in releasing the Fox titles on a few other platforms. Like I think and you would think that they might reserve it for just Hulu because they're a majority owner of they're a majority I believe they're a majority shareholder of Hulu, but it looks like they are interested in putting it out on some third-party streaming sites as well as some competitors. So X-Men Dark Phoenix, there you go. That's what Cinemablend says. Yesterday, the Danny Boyle movie. I'm thinking of reviewing that one. I mean, I've been starting to get into some of Danny Boyle's work. Yesterday is a movie I even did a trailer reaction to a while back. So maybe I'm thinking of checking out Yesterday, but I'll talk a bit more about that toward the end of this video. A Star is Born. I know my friend Steven really loves that movie. Aquaman. Batman, Gotham Knight, Crazy Rich Asians. I do recommend in this movie. I wouldn't say Crazy Rich Asians is like a laugh out loud comedy, but it is entertaining, and the drama scenes I actually thought were kind of sweet. So if you're looking for something to watch in the early days of HBO Max, I would recommend Crazy Rich Asians. Let's see, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, The Meg, let's see here, Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Lego Movie. Definitely remember Lego Movie is quite a fun movie, and it got really heartwarming toward the end of the film. Let's see, Unfriended, another Universal title. Prisoners, I believe that's the Denis Villeneuve movie. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, I'm sorry. I really like Blade Runner 2049, by the way, but I'm not sure if it's going to be on HBO Max. I see The Dark Knight Rises, The Hobbit, Crazy Stupid Love, Fast Five, Green Lantern, Shutter Island, which is kind of interesting since Shutter Island's a Paramount movie, but I believe Viacom CBS says they're going to release some content to third-party sites, so I think that's what's happening with that particular movie. Heading on to the 2000s here, we've got Sherlock Holmes, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen. So you kind of see what I mean when I said I was kind of surprised to see some content from competing studios here. Quantum of Solace, James Bond, Slumdog Millionaire. I really like that movie. I saw it a while ago. Actually, I really like the storytelling in that movie. It's the movie about the where the lead character goes on who wants to be a millionaire, and he answers the questions by using his memories. I thought it was a really good example of a flashback movie. Let's see, Live Free or Die Hard, Hairspray, Casino Royale, another James Bond film. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. See, War of the Worlds on here. Admittedly, it's funny. War of the Worlds, I know there's a lot of people who don't like that movie. It's the Steven Spielberg one. Admittedly, like, I do remember the story was kind of, had its problems, but I still recall that the atmosphere just from watching the tripods, the aliens walking around and causing a lot of trouble, and just how, for lack of a better term, just how insane the invasion got. I thought it was able to create a legitimately threatening atmosphere. So I don't know. I would say it's at least one viewing. It's kind of one of my Spielberg guilty pleasures, admittedly. I also see Lord of the Rings, Return of the King on here. Heading into the 1990s. I will have this story, as well as a few others linked down below in the description. See, American Pie. Analyze this. I might check out. It's kind of interesting. I saw the trailers. It's the comedy movie with Robert De Niro and Billy Crystal. Deep Blue Sea, Samuel L. Jackson on here. Let's see, Armageddon, Alien Resurrection, Contact, Good Will Hunting. That's a movie my sister is begging me to watch. D3, The Mighty Ducks. I thought it was kind of interesting that the Mighty Ducks movies are included on here. You're going to see both D2 and the original Mighty Ducks are on here, which is kind of curious to me because like all three are Disney movies, so you would think that Disney would be saving them up for Disney Plus. But okay, it looks like, at least according to Cinemablend, it's coming to HBO Max. I see Babe, Batman Forever, Braveheart. I know that Steven and my sister have checked out that movie. Like I said, I see D2, The Mighty Ducks. There's Police Academy movies on here. Mrs. Doubtfire, Alien 3. Oh my god, Home Alone 2, We Were Lost in New York. I'm kind of wondering that I'm seeing Home Alone on here. I'm kind of wondering if some of these like Disney Fox movies, does this mean it might be a while until we see them come to Disney Plus or see them return or something like that? Because you would think Home Alone 2 would be a movie that Disney would want to have on Disney Plus but okay. I still really like Home Alone 2, by the way. I know there's a lot of people that say things like, "Oh, it's just the first movie all over again." But I thought the location characters and even the traps in it, like I still thought they were creative enough that it still were well worth watching. I used to watch the first two Home Alone movies with my family. Let's see, I mentioned the Mighty Ducks. I see Lethal Weapon 3, Drop Dead Fred. See Dick Tracy, Gremlins 2, the 1980s. Let's take a look at the 1980s. Lethal Weapon 2. Let's see here. The Wizard. Original Die Hard. My God, Land. Oh boy, Land Before Time. Land Before Time. My. Admittedly, when I think back to Land Before Time, I think it was the one movie I saw as a kid where there was a major death scene involving a parent, and it borderline got me to tears. Like, it was like Land Before Time was so emotional to me as a kid that whenever we got the chance to see it again as kids, it took a lot for me to sit down and watch it again. I would be kind of like, oh no, it's that movie that made me really, really sad, because I think it was really the first time I saw a movie where I really felt for like especially being a young kid, the first time I saw a movie where I really felt for the main characters. The death of a main character's parent, it even got me kind of concerned about my own parents just watching that movie. I see here Spielberg's Empire of the Sun. I've been telling myself I need to sit down and watch that. Witches of Eastwick, Aliens, Little Shop of Horrors from 1986. I know that my sister really likes that movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, Gremlins, Police Academy. Let's see here. Friday the 13th, Blade Runner, easily one of my favorite sci-fi movies. What I really liked about Blade Runner, it was like the first time I saw a movie where, it was the kind of movie, for lack of a better way to describe it, that really, like, I really like how abstract especially toward the end of the movie is, and it even kind of got me thinking about how things work in the real world and how we don't live in as defined a society as some may think. So yeah, I definitely do recommend the movie. I will say for Blade Runner, it is, if you're not into slower paced movies, be wary the first time watching, but it's definitely a very rewatchable movie. I know that it's a favorite film among my friends. 1970s and earlier, Alien Director's Cut, Apocalypse Now, Jaws 2, Piranha, Annie Hall. I saw bits and pieces of Annie Hall back in my film class. Jaws from 1975, a Spielberg classic. I do definitely remember seeing that movie. It was really great. Let's see here. I see Doctor Strangelove and The Wizard of Oz, a family favorite of mine. So, okay, yeah, so that's basically the list I have here from Cinemablend. I'll also link the CNET article, that I talked about in the past, down below in the description, because the CNET article also lists like some TV shows, and if you want to see more, or you could definitely check it out down below in the description. So it definitely does look like a promising movie list. It definitely has. We saw a lot of Warner titles like The Shining, Joker, and Crazy Rich Asians, Blade Runner, and I can go on and on and on and end up repeating this list again. But I would definitely say it's a pretty promising list, and I was pretty surprised to see the amount of content from competing studios, like how we saw Jaws, the James Bond movies, the Mighty Ducks, for instance, which again, I think it kind of relates to that Bloomberg story I mentioned earlier in the video, where they suggested that the movie studios, while they are going to launch their own streaming services that specialize in the content they own, like how HBO Max says we're going to have content from Cartoon Network, TCM, CNN, and Adult Swim, and it's also likely that the studios will also be putting some of their content on third-party sites or video-on-demand services or streaming services. So I think that explains why we see a lot of Paramount, Universal, Disney, and Fox movies here on this list. And it'll be very interesting to see what will it be like when NBC Universal's Peacock service is coming out. I'm kind of curious to know if it's also going to have content from other services. Are we going to see like Paramount movies or Fox movies? Like I said, and I'm just speculating here. What I think one of the reasons why we see in particular a lot of Fox content is that Disney is interested in licensing out some of their Fox movies on like third-party services, especially since as of right now there isn't really like a dedicated 20th Century Fox, or should I say now it's called 20th Century Studios service. So I think that's why we saw a lot of Fox titles like X-Men Dark Phoenix and Slumdog Millionaire on here. So I think that's what's going on. I'm just speculating here. If you have more details yourself, please feel free to let me know down below in the comments. So definitely a pretty promising list for HBO Max. I still wish that the service launched with a more competitive price. I got an email today saying that the pre-order deal where you can sign up for HBO Max and pre-order for $11.99 is ending pretty soon, so you may want to check HBO Max's website just to be sure if they're still going to have the deal on hand. But I still kind of thought that both the discounted pre-order price and even the regular price of what HBO Max costs are still pretty steep, especially if Warner wants HBO Max to really compete with newer services like Peacock, Disney Plus, or even like mainstays in the streaming world like Netflix and Hulu. You would think they would want to start off with a cheaper price in order to incentivize more people, especially since I know there's a lot of people that I know both online and in the real world are really skeptical as to why we have to sign up for even more of these streaming services. And as I said in a previous video, I think what could really help out HBO Max is that as long as they regularly come out with new content, whether it be original content, like I know that Adventure Time Distant Lands and I'm really excited for Close Enough, those two shows are coming to HBO Max, and as long as it could have regularly released content like that, or release like let's say Warner's new movies, let's say after the coronavirus pandemic is over and when theaters reopen, they could release movies on HBO Max after they've had their theatrical run. And I think that would really help out HBO Max. And that was why I said that in the case of Scoob, mixed feelings aside, I was kind of curious as to why Scoob isn't going to be on HBO Max on the first day, which I guess, I'm speculating, but perhaps the reason is because Warner really wants the video on demand, the revenue that comes from PVOD services. So maybe that's what's happening. We will hope that they put, my own mixed feelings of Scoob aside, I still think that it's definitely worth putting on HBO Max at some point. But at least as of right now, I haven't heard that it's going to be there at launch. From what I've heard, it's actually quite the opposite. So, but let me know your thoughts down below. What did you personally think of the list of movies that Cinemablend put here? Would you like to see these movies come to HBO Max within its launch period? Are you interested in checking them out? I will say I am considering doing a sort of HBO Max like review, like a string of HBO Max reviews, kind of like my own film festival, except it's reviews instead of watching a movie. But I am considering reviewing some of HBO Max's content when it does get released, and I'm hoping that even more content gets added when HBO Max's service launch. Obviously, they can't release everything at once. I understand they have to save some things like Close Enough and Adventure Time Distant Lands so that they could keep customers coming in. But I especially like to see that content list grow, especially given how much HBO Max is going to start off at, and just given how much content that Warner has. Warner Media, it's the company that has many divisions, from HBO to Cartoon Network to Adult Swim to CNN, TCM, TNT, TBS. The list goes on. So I hope they add even more content to the future, especially to incentivize people. So I will be checking out HBO Max at launch, so I'm very curious to hear your thoughts down below. Again, what do you think of this list of content from Cinemablend? I will have a list of content that CNET put up from an article previously if you want to see even more what they expect is coming. So yeah, so until next time, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thank you all for watching. Hi everyone, thanks for watching this Blood Moon Bobby video. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos, and ring the bell to be notified about my latest uploads. Don't forget to follow me on social media for my latest opinions and video updates. I hope to see you next time.